A mansion in Norway, millions of dollars in silver coins, and a sales pitch appealing to Christian values resulted in a string of victims across the country. It all sounds like the plot of a Hollywood movie.
But the real-life $13 million international fraud ring, which nabbed victims in South Dakota, is one of the most intriguing cases to ever unfold in the federal courthouse in Sioux Falls.
Last week, a self-proclaimed pastor from Pennsylvania got 25 years in prison for money laundering and wire fraud.
But there is much more to this story, and Angela Kennedy is uncovering some still unsolved mysteries in the case for tonight's Keloland News investigation.
Criminal mastermind Nathan Peachy and members of his family entered the federal courthouse in Sioux Falls for Peachy's sentence as he proclaimed,
"Thus says the Lord God, may the curse return to those that put it on me."
It was Peachy and his fellow scammers' use of religion and playing on their victims' desires to give back and do good that helped them carry out the scheme.
I want a return on investment, but how else can I do that? So, how can I give back to the community? And, it's a win-win if you can do something like that. That's how it was pitched to us.
Alex Knox of Arizona trusted his financial advisor, Brad Tennyson, when Tennyson pitched him the idea of investing $1.3 million from the sale of Knox's family farm into a humanitarian project that could pay high returns.
Here's our trusted friend that's done right by us for a very long time and offering us a good return here with our money is 100% safe and secure.
Tennyson told him the money would go into a company that would convert shipping containers into homes.
But the idea was that this company would make residential units and small commercial units to put them in particular down into the islands, whether it's Haiti or the Dominican Republic or any place down there. Let's invest in a company that can give back to society, help these people.
Tennyson brought in several other investors from Arizona and Colorado, with the money ultimately going to these men: Nathan Peachy, John Weiner, Lauren Rossier, and Frederick Arias, who claim to run an international Christian charity. Only authorities say their activities were anything but charitable.
Once a bad guy, a con man, achieves trust, then the sky is sort of the limit, which is what really is another horrendous thing about these crimes. It's not someone forcing them onto you, it's bringing them into your life and making them trust you.
In court, the prosecutor described Peachy as a shining and disturbing example of narcissism and said he was not righteous or Christian-like in any sense of the word.
Mr. Peachy's a salesman at the end of the day. He had to convince these people, hey, give me your money. Even at the time he knew he was going to run with it. And so what was interesting to me in this case is the way that they looked at kind of these smaller, unsophisticated investors, if you will, or victims, to get the crazy amounts of money that they got, and then it got complicated after that.
Complicated may be an understatement. It took several federal agencies and the help of Norwegian authorities to unwind it all, and those efforts are still ongoing. Peachy led them to Norway, where he conspired with a Louisiana man to dream up unusual ways to hide the money.
We really tried to find out why did this scam end up in Norway. We're not to the bottom of that. We're not really sold it. I think it is a bizarre story.
The story brought Norwegian journalists Eskil Ingdahl and Johannes Berg all the way to Sioux Falls to cover the case. One of the defendants, Lauren Rossier, who called himself the General, died in November of cancer.
He's an American from Louisiana, yeah. He was in Norway, living for probably 10 years. And suddenly he and Peachy bought this huge house, mansion in Oslo, a luxury mansion. Rossier was living there, running this scam together with Peachy.
In the course of the investigation, FBI agent Matt Miller went to Norway to go through the mansion that the men claimed was headquarters of their humanitarian efforts.
The house was kind of an extraordinary building up on a hill overlooking the fjords in Norway, just almost what you would imagine. and it had been redone. So there was a large office, marble countertops, and wildly expensive jacuzzi bathtubs, and it was a very ornate place.
Imported marble from U.S., yeah, the best kitchen money could buy. And then suddenly, one day, silver coins for $2.7 million appeared in this house. They stored it in the garage.
This was a way of sort of hiding the money in a way, that because it couldn't be kept in banks any longer.
Authorities were able to seize another shipment of coins in the U.S. before being sent to Norway. However, more silver coins are still missing.
So there's 2 tons of silver coins missing. No one.
2 tons?
Yeah. For more than $1 million is missing. And Peachy and the general said there was a break-in in the house, someone stole it.
Yeah, the mystery continues, and so we'll continue to try to locate that, and perhaps we'll get to go back to Norway to try to find it again. I don't know. But yeah, that continues to be, all joking aside, something that we'll continue to pursue.
Engdahl believes the silver coins are somewhere in Oslo. In the meantime, that's not the only thing, or one, rather, who is missing. John Weiner of New Mexico, found guilty along with Peachy, failed to show up for his sentencing in Sioux Falls federal court. There is now a warrant out for his arrest. And this man, Frederick Arias, a former law enforcement officer who worked on financial fraud cases, is on the FBI's most wanted list.
He was last seen entering Canada sometime before the pandemic, and we're pursuing him. He has background as a law enforcement officer, as an undercover police officer, and so he speaks foreign languages, and so he'll be difficult to find.
While several chapters of this story have yet to play out in court, Brad Tennyson, the financial advisor who brought Knox and other victims into the scheme, pleaded guilty to felony charges in Arizona State Court. He got 3 years probation and agreed to testify against the defendants in the federal case. Tennyson lost his securities and investment advisor licenses and was ordered to pay back his victims $8 million. Knox says he's received $60 of it. What's worse, the betrayal by someone you trusted or the loss of the money?
So that betrayal was just extremely hurtful. And you know, the money significantly impacted us, didn't leave us destitute like some other people that were investors there that, you know, he stole money from.
Meanwhile, authorities say they've seized the coins in the house and a Mercedes-Benz, from which the proceeds will go to nearly 24 victims. They're working with Norwegian authorities to use the proceeds from the sale of the multi-million-dollar mansion to reimburse victims as well. But the international aspect of this case makes it all a little more complicated.
We have a lot of resources worldwide that we are putting in, to this case and trying to track down every dollar that was stolen. At the end of the day, we want to return that money to victims.
Well, the man known as the General died. His wife, a Latvian woman named Libova Berkut, has been charged with conspiracy to launder money in the case. She is currently being held in Norway, awaiting extradition to face the charges here in Sioux Falls. The case ended up here because of a South Dakota victim coming forward first.